LARAC's Fall Festival will be held at the Dome this coming weekend, Saturday, November 5th and Sunday, November 6th. Today we will talk with a person who puts it all together and hear why you definitely should plan to go. Hello, this is Sue Ford welcoming you to Arts on the Air for Regional Radio Group. And it's always a pleasure to have on the program Stacy Bissell, whose title at LARAC is, Stacy?
Festivals and Marketing Coordinator.
Aside from that, the woman does nothing. Stacy, when you start putting together this fall festival, which is at a perfect time for holiday shopping or Thanksgiving gifts, I know one time I picked up some little favors to put at the Thanksgiving dinner table.
Oh, that's perfect.
Just an idea, folks.
Yeah.
Now, when you start putting this together, you've just come off of the June Festival. You have already started thinking ahead to the Fall Festival before the June Festival's even in the park. Am I right?
Correct. And actually, I start planning the next June Festival right after the prior one. So, because it's double the size of the Fall Festival. So I kind of overlap for a while. But yeah, you start a year in advance for everyone.
And a typical day when you're starting, you're thinking of the Fall Festival. What are some of the things you go through when you're putting it together?
Well, I'm sending out email blasts to prior year exhibitors who have not applied yet. I'm enforcing the deadline date so we get applications in the door. For the Fall Festival, it's not nearly as intensive as the June Festival where I'm planning the music and the food. The Fall Festival is just making sure I have a well-balanced variety of exhibitors, not too heavy in one area or the other. You know, you go into contract phase with the location, in this case the Dome, and basically I recruit exhibitors up to the very last minute.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So, and it begins the year prior. Many people sign up for June and Fall at the same time on one application, so that kind of half the people do both shows.
Oh,
and the
that's
other half
interesting.
I go, and my goal as always is to gain new exhibitors every year, both shows, and so that's pretty much what I focus on is going out and going to other art festivals and recruiting new members or new exhibitors and LARAC members actually. And as it gets closer and closer to the festival date, I'm really kind of just locking in the key elements of parking and, getting their exhibitor kits out to them with advance notice and assigning booth numbers. And that's the last minute job. I haven't done the booth numbers yet for fall.
Now, when you go to the Dome, I know in the park you have volunteers who measure and put out the tape. How does the Dome work? Same deal?
It's the same process. I have volunteers, and because it's an AstroTurf surface, we use actually painter's tape, which doesn't harm the surface, because all the kids do their games there, and it doesn't rip up anything when you pull it up. And it's just as work intensive as the June Festival. But actually, it's harder because the June Festival we use like a biodegradable orange spray paint, and you can move right along, and we have to actually tape every corner of every booth.
That's difficult.
It takes 4 of us, probably 4 hours.
Oh my!
And then we leave, and then I spend the next hour and a half that Friday evening putting up directional signs from the Northway all the way to the Dome, and then I'm there at 6 a.m. the next morning for setup.
Oh, Stacy, no rest, no rest at all.
No, that's the big weekend.
And it's certainly not no rest for the wicked, because you are not. Doing this is really a gem. This is a wonderful festival, and it is inside, so weather is not a problem. It's not weather dependent. Well, either is the June Festival, because you have it rain or shine.
It's not weather dependent, no, but it's a little bit less stressful to have it indoors because you don't have to worry about Mother Nature.
And I know that people love to come. Now, before you have had bounce houses for the children, are you going to have that this year too?
Yes, actually the Dome was the one who, the owners at the Dome, they actually contract with the bounce house, which is nice for us. It was kind of a perk to draw us to go to the Dome. They used that to make it a better idea for us to be there, because it's something that the parents can come and the kids can go bounce while they shop. And it's totally under. I don't have to book them. The Dome does that, unlike the June Festival where I book
the
all the entertainment and the bounce festival and the food.
Now,
Yeah.
in the June Festival, you have the not-for-profits. Do you have that at the Fall Festival, or isn't that a component?
It's an option. It just doesn't come into play very much.
Mhm.
I think the nonprofits are drawn towards the outdoor, the heavy crowds, you know,
Mhm.
15, 20,000 people, the exposure. I did actually get a couple of requests this year from some nonprofits. Yeah, it's operated under a different pay scale and everything.
How much to get in the door? And I know you have rain checks, just as you do in June.
Yes, and this is, well, June, it's no charge.
Oh, that's right.
But it's $4. And if
Mhm.
you come on Saturday and pay your $4, you can use that same ticket to get in Sunday for free.
Right.
And that was a huge popular decision we made last year. Many people came back because sometimes you find something that you really, truly love and it's a little bit outside of your price range. And sometimes being able to go home and talk about it and know you can come in the next day for free, even if it's only $4 you're saving. It's let's just go back and get it, you know, and a lot of really nice purchases happened on Sunday because people came back after they thought about it.
Well, that's the day I usually work.
Yes, yes.
Where do you get your volunteers? And I know I saw a lot of people going out the door with bags.
Our volunteers for the festival?
Mhm. Where do you get them?
Well, some of our amazing board members help us out. And we do a lot of recruiting for that as well. We find people who come in and sign up in the gallery or call us and ask how to help. A lot of it's friends and family.
Which is
of
great.
Staff.
Yes, definitely.
That's a big plus. So it's pretty well run where we get our volunteers from, and we try to add people to that list every year.
Now, at the June Festival, which, of course, it's free. People, in June, it's free. Here you pay
Yes,
$4.
yes.
Is there any incentive for members of LARAC at this festival, or is it a straight $4?
Oh, it's a straight $4.
Good.
Again, we used to have incentives for members, and it became more cost efficient to have come in Saturday, get in Sunday for free, and that
Absolutely,
you know
that makes
it
sense.
just helped people a little bit more than just $1 off.
But if you come Sunday and you haven't come Saturday, you have to pay the
Yes,
$4.
yes. Your
That's
first time
important.
through the door, it's $4.
$4. So
And
you're
12
wise to come and canvass the place and come back Sunday
yes,
and buy.
and 12 and under is free.
I have another question I was going to
Yeah.
ask. So 12 and under, get in free. So if you have children, and they can bounce to their heart's content.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the Dome, Sue, I'm sure you remember, is the restaurant that's on premises.
Yes, that was something I was going to mention.
It's a really nice little restaurant. It's run like a kind of a little diner type thing. It's got a real cozy feel to it. You breakfast and lunch items all day long. Soda, even people have a beer, glass of wine towards the end of the day when they're there.
Right.
And they come and they make a day of it. So a lot of women came together and had lunch and did some shopping. So it's really nice to have that option right on site.
That's important.
You just
to know.
park once and eat and shop and
I know when I came into work last year, the coffee seemed awfully good. And they do have, as you say, breakfast items all day
Yes.
long.
all day long and lunch items all day long. They have wrap sandwiches and
Yeah, they have
salads.
wonderful things
And the
there.
breakfast sandwiches were wonderful, and they have, French fries and whatever.
Anything you want.
Yep.
So that's important. Stacy, is this also a show where it's juried? You don't
Yes, it
just,
is.
no one can just come and say, I'm going to come in, like
Correct.
some of the flea markets that go
Yes,
on.
I do receive a lot of calls the weeks just before a festival. I'm getting about 3 a day right now from, just those sort of crafters that try to get in when there's an opening or empty space, and then
Right.
I tell them it's a juried show, and they go away.
Okay.
Because if
the quality
juried
is important, isn't
it is.
to
That's
LARAC?
a juried show is, you can either run an arts and crafts fair or you can do a juried art festival. The qualities, there are artists and crafters that will only do juried shows because even though it's harder for them to get in, they know they're going to be side by side with other quality vendors
Right.
and not next to someone who's selling items from China or pre-made items that they didn't make themselves. So it's important for them to be in front of, with other quality exhibitors.
Absolutely.
So juried show is a plus all the way around.
It is. There's no question, because you are getting truly one of a kind.
Yes.
And if you're
Yes.
looking for unique gifts for those people on your list, even if they're not huge gifts, you can buy smaller items there too, can't you, Stacey?
Oh, yes. I mean, you can go in there and spend $5 and get a little, a hand-carved, a little wooden hand-carved item or an ornament. Anywhere up to $500 or $600 or $700 for pieces of art. And then we have furniture vendors there, where their items are quite a bit higher, but every single one is custom made and dovetail corners and premium woods. I mean, amazing wood furniture.
And as you said at the beginning of the program, there are people who have been at the June Festival who have signed up to be at the Fall Festival.
Yes.
In fact, that's one of the questions I ask sometimes if I find a vendor who is new at the June Festival, are you going to be at the Fall Festival? And sometimes they'll say, I don't know about that. So I say, talk to Stacy.
Yes. Sometimes people, the June Festival is so popular and it has quite a strong word-of-mouth reputation. Right. They just don't often hear about the Fall Festival. And I don't have time to talk to all 200 vendors before the show. We do mostly email and such. So, quite a few will come into the Fall Festival after the June Festival.
Right.
But there's a small chunk every year of exhibitors that sign up for both at the same time. That will put deposits down on both booths at the same time.
And you find that some of them are far afield, or are they all relatively local who sign up?
I would say regional. The June and fall, the people who do both, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say as far away as, Vermont and Pennsylvania, where the June show only people will come from a lot farther distance,
right,
because they do the larger shows only,
mm-hmm,
and they do it for a living.
Sense.
They just travel from show to show.
They want the volume of people.
Right, but a lot of the people who do June and fall are regional, Vermont,
mm-hmm,
Adirondacks.
Interesting.
As far down, Poughkeepsie and down towards Pennsylvania.
And they know, and that's an easy drive.
Yeah, it's an easy drive.
And they know that it's enclosed, so they don't have to worry about the weather. So
and the customer parking is amazing. It's right next to the dome.
Oh, wonderful, yes.
And the exhibitors get to park right behind the dome, so they're happy too.
Absolutely,
but,
Stacey.
Yeah, the parking is wonderful, and it's super easy to get to. Yeah, it's right on Sherman Avenue. Everyone knows where the dome is that listens, I think, to this station.
Question. Super easy. Now, you said you have new people this year. So how many exhibitors do you have now as we're talking?
It's approximately 70.
Wonderful.
But, closer to 80 booths because a lot of people have double space.
Right.
So it's just about the same size as last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say about 23, 24 of them are brand new.
Wonderful. Can you tell us who they might be and what they're selling?
There's a few categories that are interesting. There's a couple of jewelers that are new, and by the way, the jewelry is very minimal this year, so I'm trying to get everything in balance where you have just as many jewelers as potters and wood crafters. So the jewelry is even more, exceptional. There's less of it. So there's 3 or 4 new jewelers that I've found. One that does some nice Latin American inspired jewelry.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Some wire wrapping items. A couple of 3 new people who do pottery and ceramics.
Oh, wonderful.
Brand new. Mostly functional, more than decorative, so you can use it quite a bit in your everyday life. And they're 2 out of 3 are from Vermont. Great. 2 new woodworkers, Against the Grain inspired designs. They're actually local.
Against the Grain, wood, I'm taking?
Yeah, Against the Grain.
I love the name.
They do old world techniques in their wood, their furnishings, and amazing, amazing stuff. I can't wait to see it in person. And Vermont Tree Bones, they are a neat woodworker out of Vermont, obviously, that they do kind of exotic woodenware, just little items, cutting boards and things that are very well made.
Beautiful.
I'm excited to see Green Mountain Pressed Flowers. They actually it's pressed flower art. And it's flowers only from Vermont Gardens, so it's an actual art form that I think would be very beautiful in person.
Oh, wonderful.
I think that would make a nice gift, too. We've got a new specialty food item in addition to, the maple sugar, maple candy, and the
fudge.
The fudge is going to be there, and palatable peppers with the seasonings. They're there, and the caramel corn is going to be outside. But we have a brand new company called the Peanut Principle, which is all homemade natural peanut and nut butters.
Oh.
Some that have chocolate right in them, some that have raisins and cinnamon. Amazing homemade peanut butters. We had to sample them at work. They're wonderful.
Now, wouldn't they be nice stocking stuffers?
Great stuff. You just put a little ribbon around it and you're done.
Gifts?
Yes, hostess gifts.
Oh, my word. They sound wonderful.
Definitely. And some painters. So Oriental watercolor paintings with calligraphy.
Nice.
And some framed original paintings from a painter that's bringing everything he does, and he frames it himself. 3 new photographers, which I'm excited about. I love the photography, and One is a husband and wife team, and she has something else she sells in her booth, and he sells photography. So that's new. And now one I got to say is my favorite. I'm really excited about. It's called Sadie's Suitcase.
Oh, I love the name.
It's wool coats for dogs.
Oh, Sadie's Suitcase.
Yes, that darling name, Sadie's Suitcase.
Does she have a dog named Sadie?
She must. I haven't spoken to her. We do everything by email, but I've seen her. She has the most amazing and she does decoupage on these little wool coats for these dogs, and I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be a really popular booth.
Well, I have a Maltese grand dog, and I'm going to hit that booth.
Yes, and that's an exciting. I always try to, every year I try to incorporate some sort of pet-related item, because there's a lot of people that, don't have children, and people don't know what to buy for them. They have their dogs and their cats.
That's right.
And so I've been really, and I'm such a dog person and such an animal lover that I always find one or two for each show, so that there's that choice.
And there have been others. I mean, there have been sweaters, doggy sweaters, and so that's really wonderful.
And I'm working right now on one for next June already, which is somebody who makes specialty collars for dogs and cats. So I'm excited about that.
I love that.
So stay tuned for that one.
We have a grand cat too, who weighs more than the grand dog, actually. So
big cat, huh?
Big cat, very big cat.
Well, I think these coats are made for smaller dogs, so you might be happy to see that.
Wonderful, good. Stacy, some of the old favorites too. We mentioned the Phenomenal Fudge, and we mentioned the Maple products. And I know at the June Festival, I think you or someone on staff had told me about these wonderful olive oils that come from quite a ways away, and I'm sure that he doesn't come up to this festival. He comes in June.
He's not in the fall festival, unfortunately.
But they are amazing. Is there anything like that coming in this year?
Well, one of our favorites is the herbal products. The people that come every year. Those are all they're all home grown right in this area, and she comes to every single show, and she sells it so that you can mix them with your own oils and make your own seasoned oils, or mix it with a cream and make a dip or whatnot.
Oh, good, because they are absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and that's Northeast Corner Herb Farm, and they're in every show. Also, our fudge lady's going to be there, Sunday's Best Hot Fudge, and that makes great gifts as well.
It sure
does. They come to every show. We've got Adirondack balsam products. Everyone loves that booth every year, especially around Christmas time. They have all the balsam scented pillows and draft stoppers for the doors, and she pretty much sells out every year. Everybody loves her products.
They're great. I mean, so many of these things make wonderful gifts.
Yes.
Wonderful hostess gifts.
Yes, they do.
You can tuck away for a special birthday that's coming up after the holidays.
Yeah. It's not
perfect time to shop next weekend, people.
Next weekend. It's already here. I can't believe it.
Oh, my gosh. Stacy, hours. We never mentioned the hours. We mentioned $4. Children 12 and under are free.
Yep. Saturday is 10 to 5. And Sunday is 10 to 4. So keep that in mind. If you come back Sunday, it's 10 to 4.
It all starts at 10, but it's 1 hour less on Sunday.
1 hour less on Sunday.
And it's so wonderful to be there. The Dome, how did that happen? We used to be at ACC.
A few years ago.
I'm sorry, SUNY Adirondack.
Yes.
I've got to get used to that.
When I started 4 years ago, we were there for my first year, and it was just claustrophobic, and we were forced. First of all, you're limited. We were taking up every square inch of gym floor space
because it became so popular with vendors.
Well, yeah, but you could only do 55 vendors, and and most of them had to have 8x10s, so they would have to redo their whole booth to get into the show, and it had been there for so long. And I said, I'm going to start looking for another place.
Right.
And the nice thing about the Dome is, well, there's a lot of nice things: the restaurant and the parking and the location, but it's expandable. I can use as much or as little. I can expand and add more booths up to the last second, because the interior, that's 90,000 square feet of space in there, and I use about 14,000 square feet. But if I ever came in, and said, I have 100 booths instead of 80 this year, it's easy. He just says, okay, take more space.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So it's expandable. So LARAC benefits. We're not locked into that same amount of booths every year.
That's excellent, because it is popular, as you say. And you have how many new vendors now? We went
20-something, 23. I didn't go through all of them.
But they have to network. I mean, there's so much networking that they must come new people come because they hear how wonderful it is from other vendors.
Yes. A lot of times that's my favorite part about going to other art festivals, and I'll say, I'll talk about where I'm from, and about 75% of the time they've heard about us.
Oh,
and I'm
good.
over in Manchester and places like that.
Excellent.
And they go, oh, LARAC, we've heard about you. It's supposed to be a great show.
Good.
So our reputation is just getting stronger and stronger. And what keeps the show great is they don't want to come to the same show every year. They want to see new people. Even the exhibitors do.
That was going to be my next question. You'd think, oh, my golly, a new person selling jewelry. But no, it just makes their level of expertise higher because they're in with other people who are so good and want to be there. And that makes sense, Stacy.
And then there's some jewelers that don't make it back the next year also. So I try to keep it everything relative compared to each other when we jury.
Right.
So that if the quality's at this level, everyone has to be around this level. If it's down here, everybody has to, you can't just bring in the same people every year just because they were there already.
No, you're right.
If higher end jewelers come in, then the quality has just gone up and the line is just, just got higher.
Well, that happens. You raise the bar and people have to raise their
standards,
quality to meet that. Stacy, when you jury, it's not just you.
No.
How do you choose the people to jury?
It's every year really is just reaching out to locals. It's just a batch of phone calls that you make 6 months in advance, and you try to get 3 to 5. I always get someone from a local jeweler on the committees because we do get inundated with jewelry, and we try to keep that well balanced and
so you go
monitored.
To a business jeweler, a jeweler who has a business. Oh, how interesting! Good.
And other times it's just local artists or volunteers that have you have to have some sort of a background.
Right?
But it's the same, similar to how we jury in the gallery. There's a panel of people that represent different facets of the art world. Whether it's casual, whether they're just an at-home artist, or whether they work out in the field. So that's how you keep it balanced and fair,
Now, what works best for these people if someone wanted to send something? Slides?
No, we no longer accept
DVD?
Slides. Photographs are the lowest level image we'll accept, preferably as a DVD or CD with digital images.
The item itself, if they have an example of their work?
No, only if it's a food item. We don't accept because we just simply can't handle that.
You might do a taste test.
Yes, the food we have to do a taste test.
Right, that's understandable. But otherwise, you want something that you can view on a computer.
High quality digital images. And I always stress to people, if you're going to apply, that the quality of the photography of your work is as important as anything, because people have been turned down because the imagery you couldn't make out what you were looking at, and there could be something that was amazing.
Absolutely.
But the photography is so important. That's why LARAC sometimes holds workshops how to photograph your art. Just because they don't know
might have something that would fit in beautifully and people would really buy.
And they sent a low-end image. And we had no idea. We don't have time to call back 20 people and say, please resend images, so you just don't make it.
So they really need to have them photographed well. Spend a little money if you can't do it yourself to have someone do it for you. Somebody with that kind of expertise.
Or find a friend or a family member or something. There's usually everyone usually knows 1 or 2 photographers, and if you can't do it, find somebody.
So your weekend, when this fall festival, and we are talking with Stacy Bissell, who is pretty much in charge of all of the LARAC festivals, both of them, and she is the coordinator for festivals and marketing. So you market your festivals.
I do all the advertising for the festivals and for LARAC, and as well as our website, newsletters, and membership, and press releases. And
so when this festival comes into the dome, you get very little rest.
Oh no,
a lot of connecting.
Yes,
but there has to be the energy involved when you bring in these wonderful people who do such a good job. That has to rub off, doesn't it, Stacey?
Oh, sure does. Yeah, I don't really feel the exhaustion until Tuesday or Wednesday because I'm flying on the adrenaline throughout the festival and the good energy, and then Monday and Tuesday I still have it, and then I pretty much crash.
I like the good energy part because there indeed is good energy.
There is.
And again, Stacy, tell people when it is, tell them about the rain check, the you know, if you come
Okay.
Saturday and want to come back.
Saturday, November 5th and Sunday, November 6th. Saturday's hours are 10 to 5 and Sundays 10 to 4. It's $4 admission the first time you come. So if you come on Saturday, that gets you back in for free on Sunday. If you come on Sunday, it's just the regular $4. It's at the Dome, which is the Adirondack Sports Complex. It's on Upper Sherman Avenue. If you're heading up Sherman Avenue, as soon as you cross over the Northway, put your left blinker on, and it's the first driveway on the left.
If they're coming from the Northway,
Yes.
they should get off at 18.
18, make a right, and then make a left on Media,
Mm-hmm.
and then a right on Luzerne, and a quick left on Veterans, and then that takes you right to Sherman, make a left. We'll have signs up Friday night
Good.
through Sunday night.
Stacy is putting signs up, so she really knows that. I love that. The signs will be there, so
I'll be
you
doing
don't
that
have
10
to worry
o'clock
about
Friday
writing
night.
it down.
I do it really late at night.
And that, so it's really relatively easy to find.
Yes, very much so.
And you really can't miss it. It's a big, exactly.
You can't miss it.
Bouncy bounces that
Yep.
the Dome puts in for
Yep.
children.
Yep.
Wonderful restaurant on premises.
Yes.
Serving lunch and breakfast
Yes.
all afternoon, all
Mhm.
morning and afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So you can come have breakfast. And I like what you said about sometimes groups come.
Yes, they do.
And they
Make a day
will
of
make
it.
a day of it. They'll shop and have lunch, and it's
Mhm.
that kind of place.
It is.
And
It's
really,
very clean,
Yes.
and the bathroom, everything is exceptionally clean, and so it's nice, relaxing atmosphere. You're not
Mhm.
wondering, what's going on here. Sometimes I've been to a lot of shows in my life of doing trade shows where it wasn't such a nice venue, but this is sparkling. It's really beautiful.
Now, marketing. What else do you market for LARAC, Stacy?
Well, our programs, our workshops,
Mhm.
our gallery exhibits, including the openings, any kind of talks, gallery talks that the artists do.
Does this
Um,
include the newsletter?
Yes, I do online newsletters, and basically in the form of e-blasts. I send them out. We have
Mhm.
about 2,200 people right now currently on a subscribe to our online newsletters, and I also do a regular mailed newsletter, and that goes just to our members.
That's amazing.
The online
that
newsletter
doesn't-
goes to...
That alone
Yeah.
could be your job.
Yes. So I market LARAC in general as an art service organization.
Mm-hmm.
I market the smaller interior events that happen pretty much on a weekly basis. Obviously, the festivals. I also market for grant recipients to apply for grants through the decentralization program, and I also operate and maintain the website. So, which in itself is a marketing.
Absolutely.
We all, and pretty much
Major marketing
a
tool.
few of our staff, we all use our Facebook account almost daily to keep that active. So
It's amazing. I'm tired just listening to you. But there is such satisfaction. The June Festival was so wonderful, and this festival is always so wonderful. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah,
I really
it's
am.
a great pre-holiday gift buying show. So
sure is.
people can come. They know they're buying, the real thing from
Mhm.
local and regional artists, and one-of-a-kind, unique gifts to give, friends, coworkers, family, loved ones.
Make a list.
Yep, make
of
a
the
list
people
and bring
you
it
want
to the fall
buy for and
festival.
their likes and dislikes,
Yep.
and then you'll find you'll turn it all around once you get
Yes,
there.
yes.
I have purchased things that I had no
No
intention of
intention.
purchasing, but I love the fact that there is someone who makes wool coats, you said,
Wool coats for dogs.
just in time for
Sadie's
the winter
suitcase.
cold weather.
Yes, great gift ideas for
Oh,
people who
that
have small
is-
dogs.
That is absolutely wonderful, Stacy. Do you have a dog? You said you
I
have
do.
dogs.
I've had 2 or 3 dogs at a time most of my life, but right now I have one. I have my Gracie,
Aw.
and she won't be a candidate for these because she's about 80 pounds, and she's
What kind?
she's a golden retriever German Shepherd mix.
Oh, how lovely.
And she's beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah,
wonderful,
Beautiful.
Rex.
Princess Grace.
And we're so grateful to you because
thank you.
so much of the heart of LARAC is in your hands, and we thank you for that, Stacy.
Thank
That's
you.
a lot of work, but a lot of wonderful work that you do. So we appreciate it.
Thank you
and
very
thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
And we'll see everyone at the festival,
Yes.
which is
Saturday, November 5th, Sunday, November 6th, 10 to 5 on Saturday, 10 to 4 on Sunday.
parking's great, the dome
Yep.
is easy to reach,
Yep.
and you're going to have a fantastic time. Get a few of your friends, say, we're going to go shop and have lunch
Yep.
at the dome.
It's a great day.
Thanks again, Stacy.
You're
We'll
welcome.
see you all at the Dome this coming weekend. And thank you for listening. Scheduling for Arts on the Air for Regional Radio Group is by Sue Ford.